year we did the summit, I have this big, giant, dum-dum calendar in my office. And I have it for a couple of reasons. One, I need to be reminded of things all the time. And two, what was happening in our company is we were getting really technical with our timelines. And we had all kinds of fancy calendars that did all kinds of things, and this calendar merged with this calendar, and this thing synced here, and it was international and times. It was just a crazy behemoth calendar. And it was kind of like giving your kids their own TV, microwave, and fridge. It was really fancy and really great and really advanced, but no one came out of their room. And so a few years ago, we bought some big desk calendars and we taped them all together and we put them up on a wall in my office. And every time someone visits Cal Elite, they stop at that big messy calendar and they take pictures and they ask all kinds of questions and they call me later about it. I'm always surprised about the interest in the big dum-dum calendar. And so the first year we had the summit, I said, okay, I'll do something on the calendar. And then after the agenda got tighter and tighter and tighter, I took it off the calendar, and some people gave me a little grief about it. And I said, I'll put it on next year. Well, I did the same thing last year. I underestimated the topic, and so I promised this year I would give it a little bit of attention, and I will invite you to my office to see our big dum-dum calendar. It's a very, very simple topic. It's a 5-10 minute little spiel here. So what we do is and Pam has created some hard copy versions of it, so I don't have to explain a lot. The reason why I like a calendar organization system for our kind of business, there's a couple, but the primary one is everybody knows a calendar. Sometimes we get these organizational tools where the tool itself, it carries on a life of its own, and it has its own personality, and it's complicated. I've done the BHAG and the ROC and the accountability, and I spend more time arguing about what box this is supposed to go in, and I could have just calendared the darn thing and been done with it. So I like the simplicity of the calendar. Anybody who comes into your organization already knows how a calendar is structured. And I like the physicality of a big dum-dum calendar in my office. So we have this big dum-dum calendar. Pam brought a couple of samples, and we put it together every year. And Hubbard's, I know the Hubbard's started their own big dum-dum calendar, and it takes a 2 or 3 day meeting and a lot of fights for us to pound it out every year. But what I would suggest, if you're interested, is get a big physical calendar, the biggest one that you can get, and get 2 of them, because your first one's going to be your mock-up, argue, fight about one, and then you can translate everything across to a nice version. And start with your easiest dates. So people always seem to be interested. They want to know what dates we put on there, so I gave you dates that we put on there, and this is just a starting point. But as you do it, I always start with everybody's birthdays, and we make little birthday things. We put those up because it's easy and I don't have to think. And then I go to all the holidays, easy, I don't have to think. And then I call the school districts, and I get all the dates that they're off and open and this and that. And that tells me when we should run some camps and things like that. So those first days are really easy. Those are the no thinking ones. And then I start calendaring some of the things that are regular. And the important thing about the calendar and the important thing for your staff is it teaches your staff how to backdate and plan for everything that happens in the gym, and to put them into the accountability loop. It's funny how, like we put on a show, we're doing shows this weekend starting on Saturday, and it's a big process, I'll just tell you that. And it doesn't happen in a week. It doesn't happen in 2 weeks. It happens in about 9 months. Those shows, what our parents are going to see this Saturday and Sunday, took 9 months of planning, and there's all kinds of dates on the big dum-dum calendar that allow us to do that. None of us have a lot of time to do things like this. It's extra for us, so we have to map it out slowly and carefully throughout the year. So I map things like student evaluations. We do at least 3 student evaluations a year. We have one long form that is 4 or 5 pages long that my staff hates. And then we do short forms 1 time a year. And then we do skill-specific evaluations twice a year. So those get put on the calendar. Let's say we're doing long form evaluations September Then from there, we have a general rule, 15, 30, 45, and 60 days. So we take that long form evaluation, and then we go out 60 days from it. And there's our first planning meeting. So 2 months before that long form evaluation goes out, there's the 60 days, we have a little meeting about it. Okay, we have evaluations, 2 months, we're good, we have a lot of time. What do we need to do? And then 45 days we're going to meet. Did we do that? 30 days we meet, and 15 days it's usually all the marketing, the copying, and the implementation. So most things that happen in our gym, 60, 45, 30, and 15. I mean, they're not all meetings. Sometimes it's just touching base on stuff. So evaluations go out, and then we backdate 60, 45, 30, 15. Special events, National Gymnastics Day, Junior Triathlon that we're doing, our Halloween preschool parties, Extravaganza, which is our Easter thing, preschool graduation, kindergarten graduation, staff holiday parties. Again, 60, 45, 30, and 15, planning those things out. We put the event on the calendar, and then we backdate all that needs to happen for us to make that happen. Special events that we participate in as a gym. We do a lot of things, whether it's at Disneyland or at the Staples Center. All those have to be calendared, backdated, and all the responsibilities need to be backdated. We put all of our competitions on there for our competitive teams and the things that have to happen backdated. All of our big shows. Our staff training all goes on the calendar with the same backdating in front of all of those events. Photo days in our gym go on the calendar. All of our accounting processes up on the calendar. All of our payroll processes up on the calendar. In order to do this, you're going to ask your staff to come to your calendar. We call it our critical operating calendar. I call it the big dum-dum calendar. Our critical operating calendar. You need to have a meeting for that. Ask them to come prepared for what their department needs are. Someone who has not been involved in your critical operating calendar, it makes you feel really important if you can come in with the longest list in the facility. You have so many things on your list to do, and you're going to have to train them. We don't care about like you have to go run and get lunch or you have to do this. We care about the major events that lead up to this date. So they get better at coming prepared for that meeting. So that's what this little impressive is. I had 5-10 minutes for it. It's a great tool. You're more than welcome to come to my office at any time and look at our big dum-dum calendar. I covered it. All right. This, I just didn't want people